Hi everyone. Today we will just learn how to visualize a simple GDP data by showing how they differ per country using the polygon feature or just the polygon data type. The first thing you need to do is to have data on GDP for every country from 1990 to 2022. So if you go to the table part, there is also a map version in chart version, but we are more interested in exporting this CSV file so that we can also visualize it with the polygon data type. So I have already downloaded. If you download, you will get something like this, but maybe you are just interested in showing how they differ per countries for only 2022. So you are just interested in GDP data for 2022 or even 1990 to compare. What you could do is to just filter, use a filter, or alternatively you can also just extract all those years or all those years that match your own preference condition. So what I would do is to just load the world polygon data. So this has attribute or information for all countries. There are around 240 of them. We will add our CSV file. I name it as book 1, book 2. Book 2 is 2022 and book 1 is the 1990. For the purpose of demonstration, I will just use the 2022 data. You will see that this field comes as an integer. It doesn't come at a date or date time. So if you want to use the temporal controller to visualize, then you need to change this part. But we are not going to do that in this visualization. So let's inspect. We have the entity, which is also the name of the country. We have the country code, we have the year, and their population, their GDP values. The world data also has almost the same, but you could see that the ISO and WB83 seems to have the same info like we have for the code here. So what we need to do is to just perform a simple join, and you can use the join attribute by field value. Your input layer should always be your polygon. We set that the field we want to join is the ISO A3, and then we also use the book 2, which is 2022 data set. So this is also code. Upon inspection, we saw that they all seems to have the same values or the same inputs. So I will not save it, but if you want to work more on this, then it's a good idea to just save it over here. Or better still, if you don't want every field to appear, then you just check the ones you want to join. So we have, let's see. Yes, I will just join, and then let's just inspect all the attributes. So you see that we have 240 records, and we have our year, we have also our population, so it is easy for us to compare in the visualization. So we'll open to symbology, and to show the difference in values is mostly advised to use the graduated, and then we will So click on the classify, and then we can just make a little tweak of the visuals. You see that it doesn't have a Greenland, so we can just turn off this broad polygon layer just to have a clear view of what the differences are in terms of GDP. We can increase our classes to maybe 8 or 10, just depending on your own preference. The next thing maybe you would want to do is to at least bring in some labels, and it has the name or the entity name. Each one of them works. It's advisable to also do some editing with the labels so that they don't just cross over each other. So this looks a little bit okay. So this is how we can just visualize simple GDP data with some polygons and with some symbology effects showing how the values differ from country to country. So if you check the legend level here, the light blues are countries with very low GDP, and the dark blues areas are countries with very high GDP. So that is it. If you want more visual effects, sometimes it's just advisable to use the equal earth projection. I think this is already in WGS 84. Yeah, so you can change it to 8857. You can zoom to layer, and then it doesn't really look pretty, so let's bring it back, and then we will use a plugin which sometimes can do a very good job like this. And if you are following my channel, I also demonstrate how you could visualize data using the globe builder. So I will advise you to watch that. You can set it to equal earth, and then you can add the globe to the layout or even to the map. And then you get something like this. At the moment it looks horrible, but we can just do some basic changes to them. What I would like to do is to remove the background, or better make it white. I can also choose to remove the halo, and then now it looks a little bit better than before. If you want to make a map out of this, then you can always go to you can just add a new print layout. You can make it, and then we can add a map. You can just increase it a little bit. I've seen that most people also try to set it to the scale to 120 million. I don't know how many zeros are there, but if you set it like this, then you get some effects, and then you can also add a legend to it. It's always a good idea to check this so that you get only layers that are linked to this particular map, or only layers that are already showing on the canvas. We can take our map to this direction. We can put a title, and then we would want to also change the title and not use join layer, because that will not make so much sense. And also put a title here. You can also add your scale bar. You can add a not arrow. Sometimes people would like to use some SVG image or bring in their own image. It's always up to you. Yeah, if you also don't want to spend so much time on making the map like this, for example, if it's just for demonstration's sake without any proper detailing, then you can also just export it right away from here by just adding a title to it. And then if you want, you can also export just this legend and then add it later on in a Canva or something like that. But if you just want a simple demo, then I suggest you add, if you go to view, you can add some decoration. So this title, let's say GDP country. You can set which place you would want to position it, whether top left, center, but in this moment I would like to put it in the top left. We can apply it to show here, so maybe we can also enhance it a little bit. Let's do top center, and then let's change this. We can also make a little bit tweak here, set a different color, also the same color. We can set the color buffer fill, and then we already have this, but I'm not sure if I like it to be like what I'm seeing here, so I will just do little adjustment also. I'll just set this to no. Yeah, this looks a bit okay. I'll increase the size, or maybe just 5. Okay, let's just leave it like this for the moment. So if you are able to export this, then it's possible to also include the legend or the other notes or other visuals you would like to put here, maybe some graphics. Then it's good to export it this way and not in the map layout, because that also takes a lot of time. We can export this as image. If you want, you can leave it as it is, because then it's showing the current map view. Or if you want to set it to something else, that is definitely up to you. But I'll just leave it as it is and then call it GDP polygon. So this is very rough or a simple way of showing GDP by different country using the shape files or the boundaries of the different countries as polygon. You can always bring Canva or any type of visualization, and then you can just make it a little bit more nicer.